was a good movie,
That was a
actually.
good movie, actually.
It was tense.
We're live? You were what?
It was tense.
Tense.
It was
It
like
was
one of those
tense.
where you're actually like in the movie
right.
and you're like,
This is movie reviews from the 2000s with Robert and Justin.
I haven't seen anything since then.
That's
so
true, you haven't actually.
Kids will do that to you.
What is up, everybody? Thank you for joining
Hello,
us
all.
for another Horological Happy Hour. I'm Justin.
I'm Rob.
And this week, we decided to talk about limited editions. You know, given all of the craziness surrounding the new AP Kaws concept that just debuted this week, we decided to take a look and see if we thought that limited editions are overdone.
It's always a good topic of discussion in the watch world because you see both sides of it, right? We see brands that really execute to the highest level when they do LEs.
Yep.
And then we see brands that overdo it. We see brands that maybe should do it and they don't, right? Here's looking at you, Rolex. Because what a gold mine for them. Like you look at the Le Mans and stuff like that.
Totally.
But anyway, so what prompted this discussion is the AP Kaws, which we will talk about right after I say you should like and subscribe. Please do subscribe to the channel. We're going to be doing some more interesting stuff as we approach the holidays. I think we'll talk a little bit about that in a second as well. And if you hit the little bell icon there for notifications, you'll get those when we go live for the Horological Happy Hour for our Take 5s and when Gone in 60 Seconds and some of the other things that we are doing get pushed onto the channel. Yeah.
So in conjunction with that, we wanted to, you know, as we're going into the holiday season, you know, Thanksgiving next week, everything else
The
to follow.
best holiday.
Whatever.
The best
Actually,
holiday.
it's pretty great.
It is. Nothing's better than Thanksgiving.
We wanted to do something to give back to you guys who have been, you know, faithfully joining us for what, I mean, more than a year now, which we can't believe it, really appreciate. But we want to do a little giveaway. So every week we're going to be giving away a copy of our coffee table book that we produced with Cellini earlier this year. See it behind us. The Connoisseur's Guide to Fine Timepieces. It is chock full of some pretty stellar photography, some of the most impressive and exciting pieces that have ever come through the shop here at EWC. So what we're going to do is we're going to randomly select somebody who is in the comments section for the video. So as you interact with us over the next hour, go ahead, drop us a comment, and you'll be entered to win a copy. We'll connect with you at the end, and we'll get you a copy of the book.
The quality / snarkiness of the comments may help your chances.
Yeah, it's true.
At the end of this live.
Yeah. At the end of tonight, we're gonna select. So you actually have to be in the comments. You got to be here to be able to win. But we'll go ahead and we'll randomly select one person who commented this week. So
let's talk about AP and Kaws.
yeah, let's go. Let's jump
I'm going
in.
to show it on the wrist cam here.
First off,
our low tech. Why don't
sound off in the comments. Let us know what you guys think about this first and foremost. This is, as Robert was saying, the AP Concept Kaws edition. If you're unfamiliar, which, to be honest, I kind of was.
I don't know how you. Well, I don't know how you could be at this point because it's like all over everybody's feeds and everything else.
Oh no, I meant. All right, so I wasn't super familiar with Kaws to begin with. So I knew, you know, I had seen the cartoon character. I think it's called. I wrote it down because I'm an idiot. It's called The Companion. You know, over the past several years, had seen that everywhere. You know, seen the dolls and
at auction.
Yeah, I didn't really get it.
Going for like big money.
Yeah.
Sometimes, depending upon what it was and how limited and everything
right.
there. But
and I really didn't get it. It just wasn't for me. I don't think it was for you either. But so AP partnered with Kaws, the artist, to create this piece. It's a limited edition AP concept, 200 total pieces?
250, I believe, priced at 200,000 Swiss francs. Because it is an AP concept tourbillon.
It is.
Underneath of the the character on the dial, is an AP Concept tourbillon, which I take nothing away from that.
No.
The movement in there is stellar, and it is a really, really good watch.
Yeah.
Kind of not dissimilar to the Marvel watches, where the guts are good.
Same idea. So this is the 43mm titanium case. It's a block of titanium on your wrist. Obviously, we haven't seen this one in person, but we've seen many AP Concepts. They're super cool, as Robert's saying. The watchmaking that goes into them is ridiculously impressive. It's all Reno and Poppy developed stuff.
And I love the cases.
I
love how it's a Royal Oak, but it's not.
Right.
You know, it has the octagonal characteristics to it, and it has the general idea of a Royal Oak, but it's in this kind of very different feel to it. And to me, that's the coolest part.
Yeah.
I actually really love the way they look on the wrist, the way they fit, the shape of them.
Agreed.
It's pretty
for
unique.
the size, they actually wear quite well, even though they're tall and bulbous and pretty big. But anyways, you know, like we said, 250 total pieces, 200,000 Swiss francs, and I don't know, So right away, in the comments, you know, Grant P saying that he thinks their past collabs have numbed him to this one. You know, it doesn't appeal to him, but he's not offended. At least the movement is new, and that's something that is actually quite interesting. This has this has peripheral minutes and hours, and that for the display. So it actually, you know, flying tourbillon down at 6 o'clock. You got the Kaws companion, you know, in the middle. Looks like it's trying to break free of the, you know, get through the crystal, and then, you know, the time is displayed around the periphery.
Which I like, because I think the hands on the Marvel ones were weird. You know, like having hands
with Spider-Man going like this on there.
And like it to me it was like, okay, cool, you did this thing basically just beneath a watch. And this one, at least, you feel like they built something around the idea. Like it feels more, not that more effort went into it, because I'm sure the other stuff wasn't easy to make and was probably very challenging to execute. But this feels like a more complete presentation of here's something very different.
So to me, this really feels like kind of like the culmination of what AP has been working towards, and I don't mean that in a positive way. I'm going to go ahead and be negative Nancy right out of the gate here. You know,
I
know, shocking.
Negative?
I know. AP has been was, you know, under Benamius, I can't pronounce his name, Mr. Benihana, who was the former CEO of AP, was very clear that, you know, he was interested in moving AP in the direction, making the brand appeal to, you know, essentially new money. A younger audience, you know, wealthy, younger individuals who would not have been traditional AP clients.
But doesn't AP already do that?
Yes, I'm getting there.
Oh, okay.
So that was his stated goal, what he wanted to do. That's where, you know, you saw the Marvel stuff, you saw the Spider-Man, you saw the Black Panther, you saw the music, the Royal Oak offshore music, this piece, and it. Unfortunately, it has worked for AP because I think he took the brand from something like, you know, several $100 million to $2 billion plus, a $2 billion plus company in under his tenure. So the strategy has quote unquote worked for the brand. I have no doubt
they would sell all 250
exactly
very quickly.
It has been a success, but I personally feel that the brand has lost something in the pursuit of a higher market cap. AP has lost something, and it's not the same company that it was, and maybe that's just because I'm like old and fussy and, you know, like, oh my God, in my day, you know, AP was something different. But I don't like the direction that the brand is going, and I don't feel that it has, they're cheapening the prestige and the level that of esteem that I held the brand in, and it seems to me like they are just looking to be like the meme watch. Like how are you successful as like the high-end meme watch company?
Okay, take a breath. you get oxygen into that system of yours.
I'll take a drink.
And I now pose the question of, is this different than when they released the original Royal Oak in '72? Because from what I've heard, obviously I was not there. From what I heard, is that when the original Royal Oak came out, everybody thought it was very crude looking.
Yeah.
They didn't like the exposed gasket in between the bezel and the dial. They didn't like the exposed screws. They thought it looked unfinished. They thought it looked too, you know, industrial. It wasn't like fine and finesse, and they thought it was too expensive.
So that was something.
And all of that is very congruent to what we're hearing now with this, where it's like it's too expensive, it's too kind of crazy.
So the critiques of the original Royal Oak, like you just said, of it being too expensive for a steel watch, for it being too industrial, you know, just not in step, is totally different than now. Yeah, well, I don't even want to talk about that, but so I think the only way that it let me take a breath here and capture my thoughts. Okay, so if with the original Royal Oak, AP had partnered with, name like the most mainstream artist that you can think of from 1974. I don't even think there was like an equivalent of a Kaws.
Because I can think of like. I can think of guys in the 60s.
I'm thinking like...
I was thinking Warhol, but that's not the right timeline, is it?
No, Warhol, well, yes and no, but I don't... Maybe I'm wrong.
That'd be really something if AP was like, hey, Campbell Soup,
maybe I'm wrong.
On the dial, or Maryland or something.
Maybe Kaws is, you know, looked at in the same... with the same level of kind of respect that Warhol has I guess.
But you when Warhol did that and did his pop art, you know that there were guys who was the comic book guy where everything was super pixelated. Who was that?
Lichtenstein.
Lichtenstein. Those guys, when they came out, the old guard was like, right? So now here's you and I, who are like in the middle of becoming the old guard.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Right?
Yeah.
And now, like, we look at Kaws and we look at some of these other, like, street art, fine art people, and we're the ones sitting here with the huff going, but it's true, right? And that's why I say, I look at it and I say, that's not for me. They didn't make it for me. It's not going to appeal to me. I'm not the guy who's going to spend $1 million for one of those balloon animal things at an auction, right? Like, it's just not. Who's that, Koons?
That's Jeff Koons,
right? It's the same
balloon
thing.
Animals. It's the same-ish, yeah. But so I actually think that if AP had partnered with Warhol in the 70s to make some kind of crazy 5402 Warhol edition, I think, honestly, I would have the same reaction, even looking back at it from the perspective of Warhol as an established, accepted artist on the, on the world stage. I don't think I would look at it and say, I think the brand is doing something smart, and I think the brand is doing something that I approve of and would, would want to own. It feels gimmicky to me.
Right, but again, that's the old guard mentality, looking at the new thing. It's just like if AP did a Supreme watch that was all white and then the little red Supreme badge on the thing, right?
Everything about that.
Right, you would have nothing to do with that. And I don't know if Supreme is even relevant anymore. I don't know if anybody cares.
That's like 5 years ago, but yeah.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
But there was a time where guys were spending however many thousands of dollars for a white t-shirt that said Supreme. And, there was all that stuff around it. And, like, Fender made a guitar. They made an all-white Strat with Supreme. Everybody jumped on the bandwagon.
Yes, David.
That's why we have some people in the chat.
Yeah.
Anybody who's commenting right now, we're adding to the prize wheel, and we're going to spin it at the end. But you got to be in the chat, and you got to comment.
Yes. No, I memean, I get it. I agree that, we are old and we are boring and that we don't approve of new things. But I just, it feels so gimmicky to me. It feels like such a cash grab. It feels like they are throwing away what little heritage was left that the brand had. What little historical equity the brand had. What like tenuous connection to its past it had. It seems to be just throwing it all away in the pursuit of maximizing their profit and maximizing their market cap. Why?
We got to talk watches
we do.
So I'm going to get off this, but I hate the term cash grab because, why else do people go to work? Like, you don't go to work.
I mean,
in pursuit of like
Rob, coming to work and selling watches and doing what we do here. I wouldn't call this a cash grab, my friend. Like, we're working.
But I work because I need to survive and I need to live. I enjoy what I do, and I'm very fortunate to be in a profession and working in a place with people other than you who I genuinely like and enjoy.
Yeah, but AP sells sells other watches. They're making money with watches that are normal.
Right.
I'm trying to think of what
the argument is gone because you can't do it. You can't do it. I've already done it.
I'm trying to think of what the right comparison would be for you and I coming to work.
Mark is enjoying this. Mark, I'm glad you're enjoying this. It's really interesting because I think it's very easy to look at both sides, right? It's very easy to see it from the standpoint of AP the business versus like AP the legacy, because they are kind of like two different things, right? So let's actually jump into this.
One more quick point before we do.
Okay, last one.
Okay, last point about this whole ridiculous thing. So, what do you think will happen to the brand AP if they continue to regularly, every single year, release multiple gimmicky, pop culture-driven special editions that are wildly expensive? Like, and I don't mean from an economic standpoint, because like we've already established, this strategy is working for the brand. They have expanded wildly. They are doing very, very well. But what do you think? Looking at the brand from 20,000 feet, what will your perception of AP change if every single year they're dropping 3, 4, 5 ridiculous limited editions like this?
It wouldn't. It wouldn't because it is a limited edition. They're doing 250 pieces of this. I think they did something similar for the Marvel watches.
They did.
At the end of the day, they're not going to do, at least I really don't think so. And if they do, this would change my mind. They're not going to take like a regular 15-510 and put like a screen printed Spider-Man on the dial.
Dude, they've already, look at the music.
Right, but that was also a different kind of thing. And it was limited and it was small run. They're not going to do one of these where it's like, hey, we're doing this and it's available for a year, it's available in the catalog or something. That then changes the dynamic,
yeah, I wouldn't be surprised
because
if that's what this ends up.
then you're leaning more towards like a Hublot company. And I don't say that in a derogatory way. I just say it, and that's the way they market and the way they approach how they build watches, right? It's a different kind of thing. And they have, all these different kind of artist collaborations and things that become more of their kind of core lineup. Whereas does them making a Kaws watch change my opinion of this? Does it change your opinion of this?
I mean, the crazy part about all of this is that I'm sitting here wearing a Royal Oak. Like,
so
I love the brand.
I'm going to pivot the conversation.
Go ahead. Let's do that.
There's good comments here, and I really appreciate everybody's feedback. Bring back the Jules Audemars. I think, Mark, you're going to be in the minority there.
No, I like the Jules Audemars.
Here is another AP limited edition. This is a Royal Oak 16202, and this is a different facet of the limited edition watch, because if I am standing here and I am wearing this watch, you know that it's a modern AP. You know it's not a 5402, because if you found one in this condition, that'd be something special. And the dial color's different. But if I'm wearing this watch, you're like, oh, he's wearing a really nice ultra-thin Royal Oak. But you have no idea that this is a 50th anniversary, because the only difference here is the rotor. Can you see it? Maybe.
Adam, make sure that you're switching to the wrist cam.
Did we not switch?
Nope.
Sorry, I was
all that.
Adam the intern.
Yeah. Downgraded the intern again.
Fired. So this, I'm going to put it back on my wrist because my whole spiel there was now negated. If I'm wearing this on my wrist, you have no idea that this is a limited edition watch. This is like the sleeper limited edition. And my question to you in the chat
thing that makes it limited
is the rotor. Like, my question to you in the chat is that enough? Is this enough to make you pay a premium for a 50th anniversary watch, the fact that the rotor is different? And technically the reference is different, but you're not wearing the reference. So. But I still think that this is one of the greatest watches ever made.
Agreed.
I like this better than the Nautilus.
Me too.
I love, and the 15202, 16202, 5402, this whole jumbo lineage to me it's so perfect.
Agreed.
The size is perfect, the proportions, the fact that they kept the seconds hand off for all these years. Like, this is so cool because it is so true to the original, and I love it. I think it's great. And this is why I say the Kaws watch is fine. It's not for me. They're going to sell them. We're never going to see one in the store. They're always going to be auction watches.
Yeah.
And it doesn't change the fact that I would still love to own this watch.
Agreed.
And I'd wear it a lot.
No, I agree. But I do, and that's fine. That's where you and I will differ. I do think that if the brand continues to move in this direction where every single year they're releasing these very odd kind of collaborative, you know, limited edition pieces, then it's not going to change how I feel about this watch. That'll never change. But I think as the brand as a whole, I will start to think differently about it.
Watch Reporter seems to think we are currently inebriated.
We have had like 3 sips of scotch so far.
Yeah,
so,
we just got started. We don't pregame these things.
No,
don't worry.
No.
They're
drunk and the lighting is green. Very Boston. That's hilarious. That's very funny.
Hey, kid.
Yeah. Start fighting. That would be really
yeah,
I'm not from here. I can't say that.
So, what do you got?
So, Kevin says not worth the extra money. And you know what I think is funny is there's not much premium on these.
No.
Across the board, whether it's the 16202, the 15510, I can never remember the chronograph reference, but you know, all of these different APs that they made, where they made the 50th anniversary editions and then they went to the standard rotor, we're not seeing a huge premium for the 50ths.
No.
People, they're kind of very, very close to the same price on the secondary market, which to me is
because like
very
we've already talked about, I mean, there's little to no difference. I think down the road, these are going to end up getting a significant premium in 10, 15, 20 years because there's that little special detail, but it's going to take a long time for that to build.
It becomes the rail dial or something
but
like that,
more
like
than
with
that,
the
more than
Rolex
that, yeah.
nuance, which, you know, the floating cosmograph of APs or something like that.
So, you know, the overall topic, we talked a lot about Kaws off the top, but the kind of overall topic here was, have limited editions gone too far? And this entire table, every single watch you see in front of us, Vanna White this right now, is a limited edition piece. We have stuff from, I don't even know how many different brands. We have things ranging from 50 pieces, some even less. You know, I think the London, I don't remember how many they did of that, 30 or something.
Very small.
Some very, very limited production pieces to some not so limited production pieces like, you know, cough, cough, Omega. But there's a real wide, like, there's such a wide range of different kinds of limited editions that are like constantly being churned out. It can be easy to kind of be, you know, like Grant said earlier, to get numb to these different pieces, these different editions as they get released. And it's only kind of with hindsight that I feel that we kind of like gain some appreciation for some of these and how special some of these actually are.
So do you have a place you want to start, or should I? I have another one that I kind of want to get into.
If you have another one that you desperately want to talk about to start,
really, really interesting,
go right
because
ahead.
I know a little bit of backstory on this one.
Okay, interesting.
And so
before you get into it, when we kind of broached this topic of limited editions, we decided to it became clear that there are like different buckets and different categories of limited editions that seem to exist in the watch world. So you have limited editions that are commemorating a relationship between a retailer and a brand, which we're going to talk about first. We have limited editions that commemorate or honor a location, you know, or a specific boutique, something like that. We have limited editions that commemorate events, you know, whether that's an anniversary, a new manufacturer. And then we have limited editions that are kind of, there's another one, limited editions for charitable causes. And then kind of just, you know, a general limited for the sake of being limited, whether that's because it's incredibly complicated, like the 2 pieces that are at the very front of the table, or materials, or just they're just special for the sake of being special. So go ahead and jump into this this first line.
I love that you guys are chatting amongst yourselves in the comments too. I think that's great. I really, really do, because, you know, as we say every week, like, this is about the community that exists within the world of watches, and so the fact that it's bringing people together, like, not only with us but with each other, I think is marvelous. But Watch Reporter, cash grab to me. Don't call it a cash grab. Don't call it a comeback, because like it's of course it is. Of course it's to make money. It's a business. It's a corporation.
Rob,
unless you're Rolex, you're not running a nonprofit.
Okay, I'm going to cut you off. Go talk about the Lange, because there's a massive difference between earning money and a cash grab. But go ahead, Lange.
This is a cool watch.
This is a really cool watch.
This is kind of in the category of the AP, but this is like AP +1 in terms of like limited edition game.
What?
Where this doesn't, on the surface, this doesn't look that different from a regular 1815.
Oh, you're comparing it to the 15202.
To the 15202. Sorry, I'm falling over my words as I usually do. So this is an 1815 up-down. This is the modern version in the, I believe it's a 39mm case. We have the updated movement. And this was a watch that Lange did for Cellini. Cellini was the first manufacturer, or the first, sorry, not manufacturer, the first dealer, retailer, that's the word, of Lange in the United States. And for Cellini's 40th anniversary, Lange did this run of pieces for them. And the two differences here are that we have a white lacquer dial, which if I could put it next to a standard one, you would see a very big difference. And it has a little red 40 there in the seconds. That was it. That was all they did. It says Cellini on the back, I believe. No, it just says limited.
You're thinking of the Wempy that
yes,
says Wempy.
Thinking of the Wempy.
Which is incredible.
So this just says limited. It says 40 pieces on the back. And to me, this is another one of those watches where this is very subtly different, but in my opinion, this is much cooler. The look of this dial in real life, like that liquidy look of the white lacquer, is really beautiful. And from what I heard, at Cellini, they had these watches sitting in the warehouse brand new for quite a while because they were not a big seller at the time. People didn't really get into it. And it didn't cost more than a regular 1815 up down, and it still doesn't on the secondary market. There's a small premium on it, but like for this look, I think it's worth it. I think this is such a cool addition.
So one of the points that you made, you know, talking about how subtle this is, I totally agree with you. That is so much more desirable to me than something that is like in your face limited, you know, screaming that this is special, this is rare, this is a limited edition. And it just goes to, you know, what you and I value when it comes to watches. Because,
maybe that's it.
You know, I actually prefer this. You know, I love the 5125, but I don't necessarily love the Wempy signature at the 6 o'clock.
Barely read it.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying, like, I prefer something that is a subtle nod to something as opposed to like a smack you in the face.
What's over the top here?
What is over the top for a limited edition here? Let me think real quick.
Which one do you think is kind of too much?
Well, the Panerai Rossa, that's Panerai's game. That's what they do. That's
but
over
even
the
this
top.
is like, it's still just a Panerai at the end of the day.
Rob, they're all just whatever the brand is. Yes.
Is kind of loud.
Oh, hey, AP.
This is loud.
Oh,
but
the
again,
two APs
an
on the
offshore
table.
is supposed to be loud, right? This is loud because of the strap.
But so, like, what I'm saying is, I prefer like this Chopard LUC. Go ahead and show this off. This was a limited edition of 50.
Ooh, Mark bringing up the Vacheron Indy 500. That's a deep cut.
That is a deep cut. Actually, that's a cool watch. That's a cool watch. But so this Chopard LUC, this was a limited edition with Revolution magazine or Revolution, whatever they are now, Revolution, and this is. You know, it looks like your standard LUC 1860, you know, and they're lucent steel. This is steel as well, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so the lucent steel. And they make a salmon dial version of this. And this, unless you put this next to the salmon dial, you would think that this is the salmon dial version. This just happens to be a little bit more champagne toned.
It's like yellower.
And you can go one of two ways with this. You can say that's...
And the guilloche pattern's different, right?
Because I knew you were going to say that. You had to say guilloche. You're killing me already. You're killing me. Don't even act like you didn't mean to do that. That's ridiculous.
I totally didn't. Sorry. The guilloche
there you go. That's
pattern
what I'm talking about.
Is different because it like radiates from the logo instead of from the center.
But, you know.
This thing is lovely, though.
It's beautiful. It's the perfect size. I mean, I like the watch that this is a slight tweak on to begin with.
Yeah.
And I think that the fact that it is limited and has that very slight dial color variation,
and this is only 50 pieces.
That's what I said. It was 50. I mean, that makes it that much more special to me. I think, you know, that's the kind of limited edition that I prefer. Something that is like a very slight tweak, and it's really like I'm the only one who knows that it's special.
Yeah.
I'm not really interested in showing things off to people. I prefer that, like, I know it's cool. It's like a hidden tourbillon, which I think is dumb, actually. But, like, it's one of those things that I know you do. You love that. But,
I do, like a Ferrier.
But even this Gronefeld, which was a limited edition for Sydel in Chicago, which is, you know, a Gronefeld retailer, this is a unique dial color. You know, they only made this darker blue dial color for this special edition.
This is very different than the
turquoise
standard Principias that we see. Like in terms of, not only that, but I feel like the whole look of it, because most of those Principias have a very kind of matte finish to the dial. And this is this almost like iridescent sunbursty blue that's really dynamic and really changes.
Yeah.
Like, this is a very cool version of this watch.
Yes. And again, there's the only thing that is different is the colorway. You know what I'm saying? They didn't change anything. They didn't add a Sydel signature on the dial. It's all they did was they put a unique dial color on there, and that is it. So
hot take.
Yeah.
I would buy this over a Journe Blue.
Whoa, that's a very hot take, Robert.
Hot take.
I mean, totally different.
Buy this.
Totally different price point. So yeah, you can pocket the 40K or whatever.
I would change the strap because that's not for my taste.
I like
but
that.
Other than that, like this watch with this dial and this movement, like these, the stainless steel,
is super cool,
like
yeah.
this thing is incredible. And this watch is now, the Principias in general are now at a price point where I think you get a heck of a lot of bang for your buck with these. And I'd buy this over a Journe Blue.
Were, I mean, except for when they went totally crazy.
Real
Mark,
quick, stay on the wrist cam.
Wait. Mark, I don't know.
The wheel is populating.
God. Mark, I don't know what specific material that the strap on the Gronefeld is. They use a lot of like Python. This isn't Python, but they use a lot of Python. They use Stingray. They use a few different things. So, but I'm not sure what specifically that is. So, I saw somebody mention. Oh, so Grant again mentioned. Lange limited editions, you know, when they go over the top with handwork Kunst pieces, they're objectively awesome, very tasteful. And I thought,
I'll never see one.
Well, so that
exists.
I wanted to talk about the two pieces that are in the very front of the table here. Let's talk about limited editions that are just like crazy, amazing. They're limited because they're cool and awesome and special. So we like miraculously have two Lange Turbograph Pour Le Maries.
Where do I start?
Platinum and honey gold at the same time. So platinum, they made 51 pieces. Honey gold, they made, how many? Do you know?
I'm going to look on the back.
Okay.
I just want to take my ring off because I'm going to try to handle both of these at the same time.
These are
I don't want to.
like the most incredible Lange, you know, limited edition Langes that you will ever see. So
this is nuts.
It's insane. It's complete. I mean, that's like $1 million worth of watches in your hand right there. You know, it's pretty insane. It's very, I don't know. The Turbograph is so incredible because it's such a classic Lange. You know, the aesthetic is so classic, but you get tourbillon, split second, chronograph. I mean, show the movements
and
too, like
fusee and chain.
And I was gonna say fusee and chain driven, just absolutely stunning pieces. And again, you know, 51 pieces and the honey gold, Rob, read how many pieces?
50.
In that? Okay, so 51 and 50. So crazy rare. You know, I think we've sold one Turbograph Pour Le Marie previously, a platinum, and yeah, it's pretty spectacular.
I love the fact that it looks very similar to the original Pour Le Marie. Obviously, it's bigger, but just the idea of like the turb, the two subdials, and the 1815 layout with the blued hands, like it lives up to that kind of tradition, which to me is very, very cool.
Yeah.
If you're a tactile person like me, this watch is bananas because
the winding is insane.
Winding this watch is like a spiritual experience. And then even just pushing these buttons, like, hold on. Can you hear that?
Probably,
it's nuts.
Probably, yeah.
It's nuts. You can hear like the ping of that, like as the mechanism is actuated. It's wild. Here's the platinum as well, with a slightly different hue to the dial. This obviously having the rhodium treatment on the dial there. Absolutely bananas.
It's killer.
And this makes sense as to why they only made 50 of these, because each of these watches probably took months.
Yeah.
To assemble and put together, let alone thinking about the R&D that went into something like this.
Sorry, Vimal, if we were picking funny comments, Vimal might win. Most Lange owners do end up removing their wedding ring if you know. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Vimal, I would have to disagree and say that Panerai is the official watch of adulterers. Adulterers everywhere. But I do appreciate the comment. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. All right. So those are yeah. I'm gonna
not for sale.
I'm
not for sale.
I'm sending this video to Catherine, by the way.
Paul's gonna get 3 spots in the wheel.
All right, so that is, you know, an example of a limited edition piece that is limited because it's just so complicated, it's so special. What?
The chat is off the rails today.
God,
there's
there's
stuff in here.
Yeah, I know, right? I think the other, you know, if we're gonna stay kind of in that family, I think you should probably show off this. So this is the Urwerk T-Rex.
Talk about one extreme to the other.
But again, it's limited because it is so unique, and there's nothing. This is a standard model, you know, at the very base of it, this is a standard piece that Urwerk makes. This one just happens to have a ridiculous bronze
and they do
case.
the T-Rex finish on. They do the T-Rex finish on different models too.
They do.
Because you'll find it on. I think there is like a 103 T-Rex, and there are other ones. This is the 100 T-Rex, which is the space-time. This one. I don't know why. I've got a real soft spot for Urwerk these days.
I mean, you have a soft spot, period. But
man, the digs today. But I really am I am into what they do. I like pretty much everything that's in their catalog. I think what they're doing is kind of the perfect in between, where it's it is super hyper modern, but it's also very wearable. A lot of them fit really well on the wrist. If I put this on a different strap,
yeah, I do agree.
I'd wear this with a suit.
The camo is not my favorite option here. We've seen it.
But it works on this watch. If you are a casual guy, or and you're wearing this not with a suit and tie, I think the camo could play really well. But on a plain black or brown strap with a suit, I'd wear it.
I was gonna say we've seen this on a black leather strap, and it lets the case shine, which I prefer to have one crazy thing going at a time. But so this is 22 total pieces, which is pretty cool. I mean, the movement, the orbital satellite display is one of the most interesting, unique, horological, mechanical creations that I think is kind of in not regular production, but is available on the market today. Super, super interesting.
You also have to love the useless space-time features on here, which I did look up and understood when I did a video on these a while ago.
Yeah.
But now it has something to do with the distance of the sun and the Earth and the true sidereal timer, all that kind of stuff. But and the Earth's rotation. It's so cool.
It's how you can calculate how far Earth has traveled on its orbit in relation to the sun or something crazy.
Yeah. Super useful. All the time I'm wondering about that.
Clicks, I know, right? I mean, on a daily basis. Clicks 2015. The Porla Marie, literally, we took delivery of it this morning, so we haven't even had a chance to do anything with it yet. So keep an eye on our website. It'll probably be up early next week. It's gonna be expensive, but it's special.
It's honey.
Incredible.
It's not rose. It is honey gold, which is a proprietary Lange alloy. They've never done that as a standard production. That has always been a very limited thing.
The other piece that materials, limited materials. I mean, I think. Did you talk about this? Did we talk about it last week or no?
No.
Okay, you should. We both love this watch. This is. I mean, it's interesting that we've had multiple Chopard LUCs, today. I generally could care less about Chopard, but this, the Revolution piece that we showed earlier, and now this.
This is the nicest Chopard I have come across.
I've said it before on the show. I really want a jumping hour in my collection at some point. I don't know how I'm going to make that happen, but this is such an interesting piece. So Chopard LUC jumping hour. White gold case. It's a little bit on the bigger side. It's definitely wearable for my 6.5-inch wrist, but I do wish it was maybe a millimeter or two smaller and a little bit thinner. But so jumping hour with a gorgeous black enamel dial.
No problem.
And if you get, I don't know if you're going to be able to show it, but in our photos, and if you look very closely at this dial, it's got crazy texture.
You can see it in how it's reflecting the light right here. You can see that it's not your super smooth enamel.
Exactly.
It's got the texture to it. And to me, I would liken it to when you look at the Dutch Masters and everything is absolutely perfect and you can't tell how they painted it versus something where you can see the brush strokes.
So you just said Dutch Masters, and I was like, I was thinking you were talking about rolling papers or something. Dutch, but because you said it so you just one word. It's Dutch Masters, not Dutch Masters. But
Vermeer,
okay,
Vermeer, where there's no brush strokes, it's very polished. There's a very high level of finish on it. versus like a Monet where you can see all of the brush strokes and things like that. And like on this, you can kind of see the brush strokes, and I really
Hold on,
like it.
Watch Reporter, dude. You're asking us if we have any Jacquet Dro, and then you're saying that this LUC is a dog. I don't get your taste, buddy. But let me know, like, what do you actually like? I don't know. You got some interesting takes in here. Your comments have been hilarious, though. I love it.
And there's what, 100 of these, 200 of these?
I think it was 100.
It was 100.
Yeah.
100 of them. It's an absolutely stunning watch.
It's very cool.
I really, really like this. I'm not an impulsive person, but I would be tempted to like impulse buy this watch. Don't ask me why, but I love it.
It looks nothing like any other, like even just the case shape, and it looks like no other Chopard or
it's also
no
like,
other LUC. It's really interesting.
It's subtle, it's cool, it's clean,
Yeah, Mark,
it's cool.
the mid case on the Chopard is really special. It's got, so it's white gold, and then it's slightly curved, and then it has that that brushed finish on it. It's
you know what it kind of
really
reminds
nice.
me of?
What?
The mid case from the Jules Audemars.
It does, exactly.
It's got that kind of like curvaceous. It's got hips.
It does.
It's got hips.
It's got curves, buddy.
It's a killer LE, and it's cool because they did a white one first. They did 100 pieces of a white one first, and then I don't know how long later, but then they brought out the black one there. And to me, the black steals the show. I think it's so striking.
White gold black is real nice.
Yeah.
What category of limited pieces do you want to go to next? We got location. We got locations. We have charitable stuff. We've got I think we need to talk about, there are two elephants in the room right now. Are there?
Both of equal massive size.
Okay. All right.
We have Omega and we have Panerai.
Oh, you want to go that route? Okay.
I think we have to talk about, we only have like 18 minutes left. So we got to talk about and it's funny, Jeremy has just talked about Panerai has overdone it with their LE watches.
Yeah, you're right, man. You're right.
There are two gross offenders of the limited edition, and they are my favorite brand, Panerai, and Omega.
So my line for both Panerai and Omega has been, yeah, their watches are limited. They're limited to as many as they can sell. There's like the fact that every single watch is limited to 1,800, 4,000, 7,000. Like, they're not limited at that point. Stop saying
like this one.
You're not fooling anybody. No one looks at it and says, "Oh my God, there's only 7,000 of this Speedmaster. Oh, I have to get it." Like, it's so dumb.
They did that. Omega did like a Seamaster for James Bond, and it was like 7,007 pieces because they didn't want to make just 7, so they made 7,007. So this is an 8-day Panerai with a little bit of the old school styling here. And this one, in the particular, this is an R serial, and in the year of this R serial, they made 2,000 of these. So you might think like, oh, hey, this is a limited edition watch because they made 2,000, but they made 2,000 for this year.
Yes.
And then there are other years where they made maybe 1,500 or they made 1,000 or they made whatever.
Generally for that reference, however many years they made it, if it was active from say 2014 through 2018, they made 2,000 pieces every year. Like, that's not limited.
Great watch.
That is just your production.
Handsome watch.
Sure, fine.
Nothing wrong with that.
But it's not a limited. But it's not a limited edition.
And because of that, it doesn't really like fetch a limited price.
No.
Right? It's not a super limited edition.
That being said, there are some Panerais that actually are limited that do fetch something of a premium. The crazy. How big is that? Is it 50-something millimeters? The giant one.
Yeah.
There are some of the.
We've never seen the 60-millimeter thing.
The 60 mil thing.
Mare Nostrum
thing. Yeah.
But they have in essence the biggest problem with them is the Bronzo, because they came out with the Bronzo with the green dial. I can't remember the PAM number, but that was the first one, and everybody loved it, and it was huge, and it was tremendously expensive on the secondary market. Then they came out with a blue one, and people were like, okay, and the blue one was a little bit less. Then they came out with a green one again.
Right.
And they kind of, it irked a lot of their collectors who had, maybe paid $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 for this green bronze Panerai. And I don't blame the collectors in this case. I have to side with them. I'm not going to defend the brand on that. I think it was a bad choice. I feel like they're getting better about that. And I feel like they have done a lot to clean up their line. This is very cool because I think this is a 40 mil.
Yeah, that one.
Which,
that one's
like,
nice.
look how nice that is. I would take it off of the strap that very proudly says that it's a Lunar Rossa, but it's also not too much. Like from the outside there, it's just blue. But really pretty watch.
Yeah, it does look like Prada, exactly.
That color scheme,
I'm sure
too.
they're not mad about, you know.
Yeah. But the Bronzo thing to me was a faux pas.
Oh, really?
Twas.
Show off the Omega now if we're going to talk about those two.
We got to talk about...
We'll do the spin.
Yeah. We'll do it right at 6 o'clock. I'm okay if it goes like a minute or two over.
We got to talk about Speedmasters because there have been more limited edition Speedmasters.
Oh my God, they made 1,969 of those,
that
Robert? No
they
way!
They did, because the moon landing happened in 1969. So at least there is some congruence here. This was so close to being a cool watch, in my opinion. This was really, really close, because this was kind of one of the first ones where they brought back this flat link bracelet. I even like the two-tone. I think the fact that it's a solid steel bracelet with like a subtle nod of two-tone here on the bezel and the dial, it looks great.
It does.
I love it. I love everything about it. Except for this nonsense in the sub-dial at 9 o'clock. It's just not for me.
The Buzz Butt.
It's Buzz Aldrin stepping out of the lunar rover, right? And lunar module.
Lunar lander, sorry.
And it's, you know, I don't know. For me,
again, I have no beef with really any Speedmaster. It's just the fact that Omega markets them as limited editions. You know, they make a big deal out of, you know, we only made 1,969 of them. It's like, great, cool. That's
a lot.
That's
you can
a
get
lot.
It anytime. Trying to show the footprint on the back.
And to be fair, that is a very small percentage of Omega's overall production. So when you look at it in the grand scheme of things, from their perspective, you could say that that actually is quite a small number. But it's when every single year you make multiple limited editions of multiple models of Speedmaster, like just. We get it.
Don't even get me started on the Olympic Games.
Oh God, no.
That one comes with the lander too, right?
It does, yeah.
It's the box is cool. The presentation is cool. It's a nice watch. It's really good. If you're a Speedmaster collector, I can see why you like it. But I don't know. I feel like they have done it to the point where people are like, oh, another limited edition Omega, and it doesn't move the needle for them anymore.
And so the thing is
but
that
they keep doing it.
We have
so
seen
I guess
it. This is not to say that they have not made actually limited, you know, editions, whatever, special Speedmasters in quite limited quantities. There have been some very special versions that have been very limited. We've seen, you know, the partnership that they did with Armin Strom on that skeletonized version. I can't remember even what anniversary that was for. You know, the yellow, gold, maroon. That is actually pretty. That's pretty limited. So like,
there's the original. But again, this is like the Panerai bronze all over again. I was going to say that original Japanese one with the panda dial, which is really hot.
Yeah,
but then they redo it, and all of a sudden there's a Japan. The Tokyo Olympics had one of those in it.
No way. We have a Letterkenny quote in here? Oh my God. Rob and I are both big time Letterkenny fans.
Yeah, to be fair. Well, that's what he's saying. He's like, Letterkenny quote, impressive.
I thought somebody else had one in the chat.
No,
I was like,
because
I missed it?
to be fair.
Yeah. Robin Trust Fund guy, love it. Oh, dude, we sold that 3940 Saatchi.
We sold it.
That
Plus,
sold
it was
like
sealed
immediately.
It was still stuck in the coffin.
Yeah.
So it's not really cool to show on the show because it's just in the box looking through the plastic.
Swiss Air Special.
Which is really cool if you're the guy who buys that watch.
Totally.
And I have tremendous respect if you're the guy who buys it and you open it and
you have
wear
to.
it.
Come on, man.
Like,
You got
that
it.
is the move.
Why buy it if
that
you're
is
not
the
gonna wear
move.
All right,
but yes, that is
quickly,
a hell of a
we
watch.
have 12 minutes before we spin the wheel of prizes. Let's talk about limited editions that are for specific locations because we got some good ones, we got some bad ones here. So I think we start with a really, really beautiful one, which I think you start.
Yeah.
You gotta
I got a cloth. Don't worry, I'm actually prepared.
Oh, hilarious! You're prepared. Love it. Loose tooth. Agreed. That the Saatchi 3940 salmon Saatchi is one of the best Saatchis, period. But that whole run of pieces was just completely insane. So this JLC 1931 London edition, where they made. Do you have the number on there on the case back? How many they did?
26.
I thought it was 30. So, okay, so they did 26 pieces available strictly at the JLC London boutique. So really
Look at how
really
sharp
rare.
that is. It's
gorgeous. You know, it's I don't know why they did it in green for London. I don't really care. It's more about that engraving on the case back there. This is a, you know, the tribute reversos.
I don't want to bend this strap
too
much.
The tribute reversers are the right size. We've talked about it before. They're super thin. They wear beautifully. I love the green of this. I love that it's got that hidden little Easter egg that you flip it over and you get Big Ben and the House of Parliament.
And what does it say on the dial?
Interesting. Harrods green, maybe.
It
what does
says Reverso.
Right. It doesn't.
Maybe you can zoom for me, because if I get too close, it gets angry. Perfecto. I'm going to show the back with the zoom too, but I love that it just says Reverso like that. It's the standard hands, like stick dial. It's everything you love about a Reverso.
Yeah.
And then when I flip it here,
and again,
the House of Parliament, Big Ben.
This is part of that family of limited editions that commemorate either a specific boutique. You know, we've talked about, I think we've shown, remember the all the Journe Tokyo editions that we've had that have been bananas. You know, you have like the Yoshida APs that are absolutely insane. And, you know, we have others on the table that we're going to show next. But, you know, brands love to, you know, commemorate their boutique locations for some reason. This one makes no sense to me.
Oh, you're going here?
I'm going to go there.
I was going to say we got to show that Vacheron. I can't believe we still have it.
I can't believe we still have it either, actually. So this,
Buenos Aires.
Yeah, I was going to say. So, so it, you know, for all intents and purposes, you look at this and it's a Lange time zone, but it just so happens to have Buenos Aires on the dial as opposed to, I don't remember what location that replaces. Which I guess, like, if you're a big Lange fan and you're from Buenos Aires, so like all like 200 of, I mean, how many Lange collectors live in Buenos Aires or in Argentina? Like,
but this this is not dissimilar from the Patek World Time thing, right? Where they do a Berlin edition and they do a Singapore edition and they do a Jerusalem watch. And unless you have,
for a time zone, of course, like, you would be crazy not to do a bunch of different editions, you know?
For your city.
For your city, right.
Where's the Boston edition?
I know, right?
Nobody's ever done
It's always
like
New York.
A Boston World Time or something. Of course, then we're going to ask for it, and it's going to be like tagged.
It's going to be terrible, I know.
It'll be like, here you go.
All right, you want to talk about this?
I want to show this, because this is incredible. I don't know, I know it's for Japan, but I don't know what specifically within the Japanese market they made this watch.
Well,
but
no. Well, I think it was just for the Japanese market. It's the white gold. And it's the
white gold, right?
It's the guilloche dial.
Yeah.
The standard production version has a flat dial, whereas this has that gorgeous kind of like sunray guilloche on it.
Yeah.
Which is,
plus these like ridges in there. Like it's a crazy pattern.
This is a really, really, like, the difference between the standard production and this one is dramatic, actually. This is so much better than the standard production. It makes sense to me. Like, they should have just,
how good that looks.
They should have made this model with this dial just from jump, but this is really, really special.
Yeah, but then it wouldn't be special.
Yeah, I mean,
right? Then if everything is special, then nothing is special. So I really appreciate this. Adam, give me that zoom. There you go, folks.
Yeah.
There it is. Yeah, I cannot believe we still have this. This, I believe the price has been adjusted a few times too. Like, this is an incredible watch. The movement's very good. I owned a Patrimony.
You had the bigger one though, didn't you?
No, I had this. So I had this model, but I had rose gold, and I had the US boutique one, which had the guilloche dial on it as well, and I adored that watch. But then the trapeze happened, and it had to go. Sorry.
Yeah, this is you know, full set, everything, 2017. We're asking $22,700 for it, which is crazy. Like
$20K for a white gold guilloche, super
stop
rare.
Saying that. You're killing me.
I don't even think about it because it's just how I say it.
Literally killing me.
I am an American. I speak American, and I say guilloche. Guilloche. I took one semester of French in college, and it didn't go well.
I think you have to show. I think you have to show this Bovet before we move on to something else. But just.
I don't think we're moving on. I think we're spinning the wheel after this.
We're spinning the wheel in 7 minutes.
We can't do it right at 6.
Why not?
It's not like we're going to turn into a pumpkin. We do it now.
No.
We got 34 people in the chat. We got a lot of people here. So this is your last chance.
Yeah. Comment if you haven't commented yet.
Main cam. If you haven't got into the chat and you would like a chance to win our lovely Assouline coffee table book. Get in. When we're done talking about this incredible Bovet for Qatar, we will spin.
Wait, we can't.
the wheel.
I'm sorry. We can't end on that. We're gonna end on this. You got to talk about your favorite brand, so we got to talk about this.
Okay, so Bovet for Qatar. Really interesting take on a California dial.
Yep.
We see a lot of the kind of Eastern Arabic thing happening more and more now, since there is a very strong watch market in that part of the world. It's cool. It's a striking piece. It's kind of interesting. I'm sure they sold out of them as soon as they released them. There's actually a lot of nice details on this. I love the exposed plates with the striping on it there. The movement actually looks really good. We've got a lot of striping. We've got nice architecture here with some negative space. So it's a cool watch. It's obviously a little on the big side for me, but interesting. And very specific to its location versus the green Reverso, which, if you don't flip it over, could just be whatever.
Sure.
So there we go. A quick one on that.
All right.
And then Justin had to show this again, so I'll show it
I talked
begrudgingly.
about it. I don't know if it was last week or the week before on my Take 5, but damn, this is the best version of the Tank Normale.
There we go.
Like we've had the yellow gold. We now have the This is the full platinum. So platinum case, platinum bracelet, ruby cabochon.
Ruby cab.
Damn, this is
Cabochon?
Jesus Christ. The bracelet.
How long before I drive Justin to insanity?
He's already done it. The bracelet is really interesting on this because you'll see, Cartiers from the 70s, even later, where they're on bracelets that look like this. Most are stainless steel. Some are in white gold. A lot are in white gold as well. There are a few in platinum, and people, because they're out there and they've been, they've traded at auction and whatnot on those bracelets, people think that they are.
Adam, give me the zoom.
They're a Cartier original bracelet, when in actuality, they were made by. There were a couple Italian jewelers who would make these for Cartier owners, and they just kind of became a thing where people liked them, people loved them. They would add them.
Look at the crystal.
They would add them to their their tanks and trays or whatnot. So it's really cool to see Cartier making this like Tetris brick style bracelet in full platinum with a gorgeous hidden deploy.
I have to admit, this is the first time I actually put this on my wrist.
It's amazing.
I haven't worn this watch yet. Well, tried it on. I'm not going to wear it, obviously. But I hadn't actually put it on until now.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
I still would take the yellow gold.
No. I mean, I like the yellow gold, but I am infatuated with the platinum.
It feels, this bracelet is incredible.
It's insane.
The bracelet is truly a work of art. A good bracelet is not easy.
No, it's not.
We can tell you this, having handled thousands and
Yep.
thousands of bracelets.
Every
there are
style.
some that are really brilliant. There are some that get close. There are some that are not great at all. This is a masterpiece.
And normally,
that's a masterpiece.
My big pet peeve is a bracelet that doesn't taper. And generally, this would drive me crazy, but I don't know why.
It works on that one.
I don't know why. It works incredibly well. It's got this crazy recessed deploy where it's actually the bracelet is shaved away there, so it sits flush.
It's flush on the bottom of the wrist.
Bananas piece.
Wow.
Run, don't walk to check this one out on our website. It is and 100 pieces, 100 total pieces for CPC.
Watch Reporter is solely here to troll us.
Yeah, totally.
And to be honest,
I like it. I'm here for it.
I'm okay
Yeah.
with that.
Bring
I'm
the
okay.
spice, man.
We salute
I'm
you.
a fan. Okay, David. David has been.
I wonder why Clicks had to say,
facilitating-
"Oh, Rob." What did I say?
Who knows? You say many things. David has been adding every single person who has commented into the wheel here. We're gonna spin it in a minute. Yeah, we're gonna do it on the wrist cam so you guys can see, and we're not cheating anybody here. David, bring the iPhone
the wheel.
or whatever you got. Yeah, bring us the wheel. There it is. All right, we'll go to the wrist cam. Every single person who commented is on here. Robert is going to do the honors. He's going to spin it. Go ahead.
Everybody look at the wheel so they know their names on it. Wait.
There's a lot.
Are we on it?
Go for it.
Are we
spin
on it?
Spin away, Robert.
I need to make sure we're on
Turn
it.
the volume up.
Here we go.
Wait, turn the volume up first.
Okay. I don't know how to work your phone.
All right.
All right, this is the first time we're doing this, though, so thank you for bearing with us for a moment here.
All right.
And, all right, do it up.
The winner of the book is...
No way! Justin Raphael. Big winner there. Sorry, I didn't mean to call you out.
Who
sorry,
said
R.A. Claims.
he could read?
He said he did confirm early on that he could read.
He
so
said, me, I want it, I can read.
there we go, buddy. I will,
Yes, and he's in the chat.
He's in the chat right now. Cool.
Valid. It's rigged.
Yeah, and thank you guys. Honestly, we're gonna do this every week. That was super fun.
Yep.
Going through holiday season, we're gonna do this every single week.
So next Wednesday we'll be giving another.
Yeah, next.
Wednesday.
Because next week is Thanksgiving, we're gonna be here on Wednesday. We will let you guys know on our Instagram, in our stories, what time we're gonna do it at. We're not sure when we're gonna do it. It'll be earlier than normal. So keep an eye on our Instagram.
Might be the horological lunch hour.
Yeah, exactly. We're still going to make it happy, so don't worry. But yeah, so like I said, we're going to give away a book every single week. Super excited. Thank you. That was fun, as always.
This was a good time. Thank you all for being active and participating. It was a lot of fun.
I'll autograph it for you, Justin. Don't worry, buddy. All right, cool. Thank you, guys. Have a great rest of your week. Great weekend. See you soon.
Goodbye, everybody.
Later.